What is happening, people? It's your boy Delboy, and we are back for your weekly dose of Delboy. And today we have a very, 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 very special guest. Today we are in the know with none other than AEW star, New Japan star, Danny Limelight. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, bro? Appreciate you having me on the show, man. You're making me sound like a star, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited. I wouldn't quite say I'm an AEW star just yet.
Yeah.
Definitely, an upcoming star, a New Japan strong, part of Team Filthy. I'm proud to be there. I'm proud to be at AEW. I'm proud for every opportunity thrown my way, but I'm grinding, baby. We out here doing big things. You know what I'm saying?
Killing it, man. Absolutely killing it, man. So even before we get into like the whole meat and bones of the interview, I usually like to ask like an icebreaker, so something a bit outside of wrestling, just to kind of like get to know you a bit more.
Okay.
So today's icebreaker is: if you had an unlimited supply of one thing, can't be money, what would it be?
Chicken wings.
What flavor?
Oh man, a mix between lemon pepper and like hot wings. You know what I'm saying? I love wings. That would be fun. Or unlimited supply of like Hennessy. Like if I have like a water gallon thing, but it's full of Hennessy, and then whenever I want a shot, I can just bow.
I've realized that people from New York, they love Hennessy. What is it about Hennessy that you guys love?
Well, anything could happen on the Hennessy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It was a drink that my pops, used to drink when I was youngin'.
Yeah.
And whenever there was house parties, there would always be Hennessy there. So obviously, I would go sneak the alcohol to the room for the kids. Me and my cousins and shit. We were like 8 or 10 years old trying to sneak the Hennessy in. So that's what I grew up drinking, and that's what I acquired a taste for. There was a phase in my life where I was in San Diego partying a lot, and Ciroc was my thing. Like I wanted to do Ciroc, because the whole Ciroc point was like after a while, like my tolerance for that got kind of built up, and it just wasn't doing it for me anymore. So I went back to the Hennessy.
Yeah, no, that's dope, man. That's dope. Whereabouts in New York?
Unlimited supply of Oreos. I like Oreos too.
Oreos are nice. Yeah. Oreos are dope. I like the thin ones.
Wings, Oreos,
Yeah, that's dope, man. Whereabouts in New York are you from?
I'm from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, okay.
South Second Avenue.
Do you support Brooklyn Nets?
I'm a diehard Knicks fan. I grew up a Knicks fan, so I'm a Knicks fan. It took me a while to become a Nets fan after they made the move. I didn't know how long they were going to stay in Brooklyn and stuff like that. But lately I've been kind of rooting for them, but I'm still a Knicks fan. Yeah. They're a Brooklyn team, but
no, for real. How do you feel about James Harden moving over to Brooklyn? For me personally, I'm a Houston Rockets fan. I was born in Houston, so
okay.
I'm a diehard Houston Rockets fan. So
I think you guys came up better on that trade. Man.
Oh yeah, 100%. I wanted it before the season even started. I wanted him to leave.
Drama queen, man. We don't have time for drama. You know what I'm saying? New York hasn't won a championship since 72 or 73. Like I remember, we need something to happen, but it don't like it's happening anytime soon.
Yeah,
we'll see how the next play.
The backcourt for the Brooklyn at the moment is top tier, but then it's just what will happen. We'll see what happens in it. So let's start at the beginning. So what was like the early moments for you growing up in terms of like were there like any significant moments that made you want to get into wrestling? Was it like a particular match, or was it just something that you just
I answer this question a lot. My first vivid memory of wrestling was '97 Bad Blood, Taker and Michaels. Obviously, I got so invested into the match, and Kane came out, made his debut. I got so mad, that I turned the TV off.
Oh, for real?
And my dad just popped me because he watched wrestling.
Yeah.
That was the first vivid memory that I have, and then The Rock is what really gravitated me towards wrestling. And then when he left, I became a huge Eddie Guerrero fan. After Eddie Guerrero passed, I kind of stopped watching wrestling.
Okay.
And then when I started training to be a wrestler, I got back into wrestling, and then I learned about New Japan. I learned about TNA and Impact. I learned about everything that was happening in the world of wrestling, and obviously AEW being founded and things like that. So I expanded on my knowledge of wrestling when I started doing it. Before then, I was just a very basic fan. I didn't know much about it, other than what I saw in the 90s and early 2000s.
Okay, dope. So in terms of when you first started training, how was it for you? Like, how was it taking your first bump?
It sucked, but I mean, I think that because of my training in the Marine Corps and
Okay.
my background in parkour, stunts, martial arts, and stuff like that, it was kind of like an easy transition for me. I think I caught on pretty fast. I'm actually athletic, and I have all the tools that you need to be able to do this stuff in the ring. So it wasn't that hard. Obviously, I was sore, the first few weeks because my body wasn't used to it.
Yeah.
But it was fun, man. It was cool. Something that I wanted to do as a kid, but you never think it's possible, and then when it happens for you, it's like, whoa, this is like really happening. So
That's dope. And how long were you in the Marine Corps for?
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, I joined when I was 17.
And how was that experience for you? Because I know that's something that's definitely not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah, I loved it, man. I had a good time as a Marine, bro. I was a drill instructor. I was a martial arts instructor in the Marine Corps martial arts program. I taught that. Traveled the world, got to meet some awesome people, do some fun things, see the world in places that I never would have seen before. And it got me out of New York, man. Like I didn't have nothing really much going for me. So when I dove into the military, and then I opened all these doors and all these different kind of cultures for me, and it like really expanded my horizons. So it was kind of fun, and then obviously helped with the transition to the wrestling world and life in general, So I'm super thankful for my time in the Marine Corps.
That's proper dope. But what advice would you give to anyone that may want to kind of go into that avenue of the military or the Marine? Like what kind of advice would you give them?
I would just say go for it, man. The Marine Corps set me up for success. I know people have, their own opinions of what's going on in the world right now, and I think that the military for me was a blessing. Everybody has their own experiences. I don't know what I would be doing in life right now if I didn't leave New York when I was 17. So I tell them, if you're thinking about doing it, man. The benefits are amazing. You grow as a human being. You rise above your peers. I look back at people I went to high school with. They're still trying to figure out how to get a car loan and stuff like that. So it definitely launches you forward in life, man. Obviously with some sacrifice.
Yeah, no, that I could only imagine. But that's 100%. I remember watching your interview with Sean Ross Sapp, and you I think you made a mention of it kind of taught you this kind of not being like just getting things done, not being lazy. Like if anybody felt like if anybody felt that discipline basically.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's proper shit. So growing up, me and my friends, we had this conversation a few months ago. So in the UK in October, it's Black History Month. So we had the discussion about growing up watching wrestling, Black representation. So yourself growing up, did you think Latin representation was important for you? Or was it just something maybe as time went along?
I say all the time that like, not even just in wrestling, but like when I was growing up, we didn't have many Hispanics to look up to. We had Mark Anthony, at least Puerto Ricans, I should say.
Yeah.
We had Mark Anthony, we had Jennifer Lopez. Wrestling wise, there wasn't, you had Sabio Vega, but he was way before my time.
Yeah.
You had Carlito. That's about it.
Yeah.
But now, if you look at it, now you got Damian Priest, you got Santana and Ortiz, you got Tasha Steelz and Impact, you got me now, you got Eva Lise, the Sicaria. So you got my tag partner, Papo Esco. There's a lot of Puerto Ricans coming up and you're trying to put on for the culture. I think it's important, man. I think it's always important to no matter what your race is, no matter what your culture is, what you believe in. If you have an opportunity or a platform to be a flag bearer for that, you do it. You know what I'm saying? You carry yourself, hold yourself true to who you are and stay authentic because there's people watching that want to be where you are. And honestly, like, you can be that light for them.
100%. So I'm going to skip forward a little bit. And so last year, I think, was it June? You debuted for New Japan?
Yes.
How did that come about?
So I made my debut with New Japan in July. I'm super grateful because that was like one of my bucket list things. Like that's a dream for a lot of people to wrestle at New Japan. It was one of mine. Once I found out what New Japan was, I did the New Japan tryout in 2019. Okay. I got invited out by Rocky Romero. Did the tryout. And then when I got the call during the pandemic that, we were going to get ready to rock and roll in New Japan strong, and I was coming in to make my debut against TJ Perkins, you know, like I was excited. Like that shit was like goosebumpy, you know, like it was dope. You know, it was a huge accomplishment, a huge goal I unlocked, and then wrestling TJ Perkins, who's like one of the best technical wrestlers around. So it was a good debut for me. I got to really get myself out there and people see me and with a top tier level opponent like TJ Perkins. And it was awesome, man.
That's proper sick. And it seems like, I mean, unfortunately, due to the pandemic, I'm sure it's not allowed you to have the chance to fly out to Japan, but in the same breath, it's kind of built New Japan Strong as its own separate brand where, you know, you have the likes of Jeff Cobb, you have yourself, you even had the Best of Super J tournament with Leo Rush. So it's brought in a nice crop of superstars where it's like the possibilities for 2021 in terms of the matchups is so endless. And you're even now part of Team Filthy with I'm going to talk about that.
Hell yeah, I want to talk about that because we filthy as hell over here. You know, like you said, man, I haven't been able to go to Japan because of the pandemic. I used to live out there when I was in the Marine Corps, but I had the chance to wrestle out there. I lived out there for 2 years, you know, so I love the culture, I love the food, I love the place. Just haven't had a chance to go out there to wrestle. And so like you said, man, New Japan Strong has kind of been able to be its own thing. It's like the best hour of wrestling there is, you know, and it's look, you name some of the talent like Jeff Cobb, you said Leo Rush, you got Bullet Club there, Rocky Romero, Fred Rosser, you know.
He's having the run of his life.
The rest of his life. You know? But the people you want to talk about when you think about New Japan Strong is Team Filthy. You know what I'm saying? You got myself, you got Filthy Tom Lawler.
He also
Dirty
won
Daddy,
the
Chris
Opera Cup at MLW as well.
There you go. He's killing that MLW. You got Chris Dickinson and you got, you know, JR Kratos. And I think that, you know, we a fight dream. We have, you know, I'm the only junior heavyweight there is on the team. And then you got a mat technician, like, you know what I'm saying, like Tom Lawler. You got the monster and JR Kratos, and you got a beast himself, you know, with Chris Dickinson, who can strike with the best of them, grapple with the best of them. And then you got me, you know what I'm saying? I got a mouthpiece on me. I can fly. I can grapple. I can strike. You know, I'm a little hybrid little machine myself. And I think we're a good little, you know, clique, and we got a lot going for us right now. So, you know, our plan is to obviously take over Friday nights. So
that's honestly dope. I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes as a wrestling fan, we can see a wrestler in one company, but then we can look at another company and see someone that looks similar to them, and you're thinking to yourself, wait, I think I know that person from somewhere. Because I remember seeing you in Championship Wrestling from Hollywood.
Yes.
And then I think a few months later, I'd seen you in AEW Dark. But then because the name, it was Daniel Rivera in Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, and then in AEW Dark, in my head I was thinking, wait, this guy looks so familiar. I feel like I've seen him before. I had to go and quickly search up Delboy. I was like, duh, this is the same person. So talk to me about how AEW Dark. Exactly. Talk to me about AEW Dark. How did that come about?
After I made my debut in New Japan, I had contacted the head of talent relations over at AEW, sent them my stuff, let them know I was interested in opportunities. At the time, they didn't have nothing going on at the time. You know, they weren't really bringing anybody in or looking for any talent or whatever, you know, it may be. And I kept grinding. You know, I did a Lions Break Crown tournament with New Japan. I started really taking off with New Japan Strong. Primetime Live, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. I was rocking and rolling there. So I was kind of, you know what I'm saying, I think doing well for myself. And then, you know, I got contacted by QT Marshall over at AEW to bring me out there for AEW Dark, you know, and I went out there and I made my debut wrestling Jurassic Express, you know, which is one of the most innovative trios team there is, in my opinion, at least. Yeah. And it was fun, man. It was awesome. It was a great feeling being able to come out and show the world that people had never seen me before, what I can do, you know. And I'm sure people were like, who is this guy? Because some people may have not watched New Japan, you know, United Wrestling Network. But when they saw it, like, oh wow, this dude can go. You know, he got some juice, you know. So yeah, I just kept rocking and grinding. And in my 10th match, you know what I'm saying, I'm wrestling Kenny Omega on Dynamite and the Good Brothers, you know, and I think from there, that was the most exposure I'd ever gotten in my entire career. It was probably the biggest match of my life. It was, for sure. And even though I had spent the better half of 2020 banging with guys like Rocky Romero, banging with, you know, Fred Ross or PJ Black, you know, Blake Christian, Clark Connors, amazing talented dudes. There's such a huge fan base that doesn't watch New Japan because they don't have New Japan World, you know, which you can subscribe to at newjapanworld.com. And so they hadn't seen me. But then, you know, I think the numbers were like, almost 800,000 viewers live on Wednesday night on Dynamite, and seeing me, wrestling Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. People had never knew who I was, but seeing me move, and hang with one of the best wrestlers in the world, probably the best wrestler in the world right now. It was awesome, man. Twitter went crazy. I got my little blue check mark on Instagram.
I went crazy. Because you can imagine me, like, I've like become a fan. So I think you even retweeted one of my tweets as well, where I said I need to see. I think it was after your match with VRSYJNES. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, this guy is absolutely crazy. Then you had an amazing match with Fuego del Sol. Yeah. Absolutely crazy.
Picking up my first win already. You know what I'm saying? I started the new year off with a win.
Crazy. And I tweeted, I need to see you against Darby Allin. That match needs to happen.
I've known Darby Allin since 2018, and I'm sure if I keep doing what I'm doing and staying consistent, it'll happen eventually. And I'm sure that when it does, it'll be the match everybody wants to see. I think
we need to see that. I'll listen.
The feedback and the response would be amazing. I think because Darby Allin's talented. He's the TNT champion for a reason. I think that I know for a fact I can hang with him, and I think that it will be a good match.
100%. There's two things. So one, you mentioned briefly about your debut on Dynamite. How are you feeling? Because I remember when I saw the news that you'd be teaming up with the Varsity Blondes against the Good Brothers and Kenny, I was like, oh, okay, the world is gonna see, because if you watch AEW Dark, you know what this guy's about. If you watch New Japan, you know what this guy's about. But now you're on the main stage, so and you were in the ring with Kenny, and you both looked good. So how was that feeling of stepping toe to toe with some of the best in the world?
It just felt like I belonged, man. Like it felt like everything that I had been working for last year since I started wrestling, or just everything that I've been grinding, all the sacrifices, all the injuries that I pushed through and sucked up. You know what I'm saying? Just to get to that point, man. And then being able to not only get to that point, but then, like you said, hang with one of the best wrestlers in the world and really stand out as best as I could in that kind of a situation with that opportunity in that spot. And it feels amazing, man. It feels great.
Honestly. And secondly, earlier you mentioned the word juice, and it reminded me of a wrestler I grew up watching when I was younger, Juventud Guerrera. Yes. Is there any kind of inspiration? Like, let's talk about your wrestling style. Like, who are some wrestlers that you'd say kind of like inspired? Because there's a lot of wrestlers that not a lot of wrestlers, but there's a few wrestlers that I can potentially pinpoint and say, you know what, their wrestling style may have some sort of influence on.
Let me see you name them. What do you think?
So I might be shooting the gun, but Amazing Red.
Okay.
Eddie Guerrero.
Okay.
Juventud. Yeah, I think those three. And maybe Rey Mysterio.
For me, my favorite match to watch is Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero, Halloween Havoc '97. That's where the first match, whenever I want to sit down and watch wrestling to like study, the first match I always turn on is that match. It's what gets my fucking brain rocking. I like watching Dragon Gate. I like a lot of Yoshino's matches. A lot of Amazing Red stuff I like watching. A lot of New Japan stuff as well. I like watching that stuff, and sometimes I go back and look at some Shikara stuff and just see some of the more talked about matches from back in the day with Generico and those guys and stuff like that. So it's a lot of different wrestling. Sometimes I go turn on D Malenko in 1987 and see what he was doing technically, and stuff like that. So it just really depends on what I'm feeling. I definitely have transformed my style in a while. I used to just fly. Yeah. And try to do all types of, high fly sacrifices kind of stuff in the ring. Now I have a good balance of, flying and grappling and striking.
You've got some submission in your arsenal as well.
Yeah, I do. For a lot of people don't know, I'm a first degree black belt instructor in the Marine Corps martial arts program. That martial arts program, it's boxing, it's karate, it's judo, and it's jujitsu. So they teach us throws, submissions, takedowns, things like that. So I have all that. And I actually used to teach the program. I trained over 400 something Marines in that program throughout the course of 7 years that I was an instructor in the Marine Corps. So it's a lot of different things, and I feel like it's what I had to do to really take myself to that next level. I like watching The Rock's promos because I like to talk. I like to see, the things that he did in his interviews and things that Ric Flair did in his interviews, and just to, you know, because I think that talking and being able to cut a promo is important. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So, I just try to watch as much stuff as I can when I get the time to. So it's one of those businesses where you got to keep learning, you got to keep growing. You never know everything, and it's awesome. I love it. It's always evolving. The game's always evolving.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just a matter of just realizing to yourself that, you know, I could only get better if I put the time into it, and you know, you seem to be doing that, and it's shown. You know, you've gone from, you know, doing the indies, from, you know, doing the NWA to being on. You've done Impact, you've done New Japan, you've done AEW simultaneously. So you know, it's only upwards and onwards from here.
You know, the way I look at it, man, like you said, like I'm watching wrestlers like Amazing Red. I'm watching Rey Mysterio. I'm watching, you know, all that stuff. One day, like there's gonna be guys watching, hopefully, you know, if I'm able to make that kind of an impact, because I like to be innovative in the ring. Yeah. Even though I'm watching people's stuff, I like to take things and make it my own. I like to draw inspiration from what they're doing and try to like put my sazon on it and make it something different. You know, I like to stay innovative in the ring and do things, you know, like the walk rope and to avoid and to just like put things of different pieces of a puzzle together to create a different, you know, piece of art at the end of the day. And I'm trying to be innovative with it. So when people are watching my matches, like, man, that was tight. I wonder if I did something different, or if I could do something like that. That years from now, you know, somebody's, you know, some young kid coming up in the business is watching my stuff to see what I was doing to try to add stuff to their game. And I think that's dope, man. I think that's what it's about, being, you know, so innovative and creative that people want to derive inspiration from you.
That's proper sick, man. I wanted to ask. So, what are your goals? Like, so let's say, for example, cool, it's December 31st, 2021. What would you have wanted to have achieved when you look back and say, you know what, this year's been a great year? Like, what do you want to have achieved?
I mean, I had an amazing 2020. I'm humble and grateful for what I was able to do in that year. Going into this year, you know, December 31st, 2020, I took time to think what I want to do to say that my next year is going to be good. You know, I thought about that. What are my goals? Man, I just want to stay consistent. I want to obviously create more of a fan base, and I want to sign a contract to a major company. I don't know what company that is.
Yeah,
it could be AEW, it could be New Japan, it could be WWE, it could be whatever, you know. But that depends on how I feel. The opportunity presents itself. If I feel like I can add value to that company, as well as if I feel like that company is the best fit for me and my daughter, and our goals and what we want and stuff like that. I haven't closed any doors on anybody. I haven't, you know, I'm not trying to play the who knows where I'm gonna go game. No, right now I'm a free agent. I believe I'm one of the hottest free agents, if not the hottest free agent. I'm the only, you know, talent that's never been signed that's wrestling on two major promotions, New Japan and AEW. You know, I've wrestled with Impact, I've wrestled with New Japan, I've wrestled with AEW. I'm on the independents. I've you know, I'm having matches with some of the best wrestlers in the world, consistently having the best matches. And I think that, you know, eventually my time's gonna come, and when it does, I'm gonna be ready for it, and I'm gonna make the decision, and it's gonna be what's best, you know. And I think that it's only a matter of time. So at the end of 2021, that's my goal, is to finally sign my name on a piece of paper, and hopefully, you know, it'll be what's best for everybody.
And to also, I mean, my goal for you is to also win the TNT title, and to hopefully to come to Europe and, you know, wrestle in London, man, so we can chop it up, man.
That would be tight, man. I'd love to come out to Europe. I've never been to Europe.
You've never been to
Europe?
A
lot of places. No.
Okay. So before we round up, I usually do something called set the scene. So, but this time I'm gonna do it this way. It's AEW's final pay-per-view of the year. Let's look again. AEW's final pay-per-view of the year. Who is the opponent you'd want to face, and what is the match stipulation you want to face them in, and what title would you want to face them for?
Man, if I have the opportunity, I'll be wrestling Darby Allin for the TNT Championship in a 2 out of 3 falls match.
TK, let's book this match. Let's get this done.
I think that would be tight. Or if you know, if that wasn't an option, me versus Jungle Boy versus Sammy Guevara versus Rey Fénix in a 4-way, and just give us like 15 minutes to just go ape shit. That'd That'd be insane too.
That would basically be like PWG on TV. That's literally it. That's literally it.
Just be a gifable match. You know what I'm saying?
Literally, so many moments, so many near falls. It will be crazy, man. Danny, thank you very, very much for taking the time out. This is not.
You gotta do it for New Japan. You gotta do it for New Japan.
Oh yeah,
it's New Japan's final of the year. Come on,
no, let's not even do final show of the year. Next year, New Japan, Wrestle Kingdom, main event.
Shit. Nah, fuck. Come on, man.
Main event. No.
You shooting crazy right now, man. Let's say New Japan Strong's biggest event of the year. Let's say that.
Okay, New Japan Strong,
biggest
event of the year.
I want to be a next year's Super J Cup. Right? You know what I'm saying? That's one. But I would like to do Team Filthy versus Bullet Club. Mm-hmm. Me, Tom Lawler, Kratos, and Dickinson against, Gorillas of Destiny, G.O.D., Kenta, and if Jay White's still there, Jay White or Chase Owens. You know what I'm saying? I think that'll be.
I think that'll be sick. All right, so is that at New Japan Strong's biggest event?
Yeah, that'd be tight, man.
That'd
be tight. Or versus Rocky Romero in a cage match.
That'll be sick.
Shit out that viejito.
Danny, man, thank you very, very much for taking the time out to do this. Just as a fan, I'm happy. I'm surprised that you even were down to do this. It's just testament to your great character and just you as a person.
Thank you, bro. No worries.
Yeah, appreciate it. Would you like to plug your socials? I know you're verified.
Yeah, man.
So people can just
again, dude, just thank you so much for having me. For anybody who doesn't follow me already, check me out on Instagram and Twitter at Danny Limelight. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Danny Limelight. Get a t-shirt. Guap Daddy. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you bringing me on, dog.
Thanks for coming on, bro. Appreciate it a lot. Wow, this is In the Know with Danny Limelight. It's your host, Guap Daddy, aka Delboy. We are out. Wow.